Okay, what's up, guys? Um, just about to do some analytics right now. Okay, it's July 21st, Friday. First off, what I like to do is before I continue with the markets, I'm going to see what's going on for the day. I usually do this the day before, the night before, just like the old days, some homework. So there's a few applications that you go into that'll give you a heads up as to what's going to happen in the financial markets for the day, if not the week as well. So for today, we probably got some news coming out. Let's see. We got high impact news on retail sales coming out in about an hour and 6 minutes. So that should be at around 8:30. So we got a retail sales and then we got consumer price index. So let's see what they tell us. We just opened one of them. This is the retail sales. It says it shows the performance of the retail sector in the short term. Generally speaking, the positive economic growth anticipates bullish movements for the CAD. So bullish means going up, green, right? So we could take away from the retail sales, and then if we look at the consumer price index, what does that tell us? The consumer price index. The Bank of Canada aims at an inflation range of 1.1 to 3%. Generally speaking, a high reading is seen as anticipatory of a rate hike and is positive or bullish. All right. So rate hike means going up, right? Well, seems like a little common sense, right? So if interest goes up, that means people will find it more difficult to get a loan, right? So if people find it more difficult to get loans for businesses, for personal reasons, the value of that particular currency goes up, right? So anything that's hard to get raises in value. So if interest rates make things a little bit more difficult to secure loans, that means the actual value of that particular currency for the country goes up slightly. So right here on retail sales, we got let's see, 8% on the CAD, right, from a previous, and then we got a consensus of 0.2%, right? So the actual is yet to be released yet. So the same thing here. We got 1.3% on the previous and 1% on the consensus. Consensus means what the general mindset of financial analysts think it's going. The previous is what it was before, and the actual is the actual numbers, right? So all right, so we got that. Um, Now let's see what we can find out some more about. So I exit out of this. Um, okay, so you guys, you might trade from your laptops, you might trade from your phones. That's fine. Me, I tend to do it from the phone. Nowadays, just keeping up with the times, it's a lot easier to be able to lock in trades from your phone. It's not like back in the 80s where, people just had those block phones and they couldn't do anything. We got smartphones now. So, I say use them, right? So basically, anything you need to do on a laptop, you could pretty much do now with a reasonable amount of accuracy on your phone. So I try to optimize my phone for information, right? Because that is how to be a good trader. You're the first to get the info. Uh, you know, you're not cluttered with a bunch of other unnecessary stuff, right? So my phone is primarily just for trading. So this is my main screen, just regular stuff I need for life. And then I swipe to the left. I got my investing widget. This gives me all the currency pairs that I use often. These are quick one tab access, just in case I want to get in. So for this particular instance, we want to look at the Canadian, right? So because we had Canadian news coming out, right? We had Canadian news coming out. The CAD you see here, Canadian news, the flag on the left. So let's do homework on the CAD, right? So the consensus is that is going down, right? So let's pick CAD on this one, USD CAD. That's where it's gonna have the most significant impact. And as you can see, investing.com, they give you an array of different tools to your disposal. So you have overview, which gives you a general perspective of the market. You can flip it sideways, and it'll give you the sideways view, instant chart with all your time frames on the side. Me, I don't generally use it because I like using charting tools. They don't provide that here. And then you get your technical analysis. You got all your different stuff here. Anyway, so let me just get to the point. We got, what I like to do is a hidden gem is you go to the comment section right here, right? And once you get into the comment section, you start to see other traders just like yourself trying to get an edge by relaying information to one another. So what they do is, excuse me, guys, I'm a little congested. Allergies. 1 sec. Okay, so as you can see here, you got a bunch of different comments from different people all around the world, right? You know, they all drop their 2 cents as to how they feel. They give their own sentiment to the market. So everybody here seems to be believing that selling is the way to go today, right? So that's your first tip. So when you get these many people in unison all agreeing with each other, right? Of course, some of them, they believe it's going to buy, right? So right here, you got P. Vanny Ready saying buy CAD because of this 10-year low. It will bounce back. Okay. All right, we'll be the judge of that. Tip, sell. See? More sells, more sells. You got guys posting up their pictures. And this is where they think it's going. You know, all of this is just a part of your whole scope, right? It's not, you're not using any one particular information over another. You're just gathering a bunch of information, and then you're going to make your final decision after that. So now we know where the general consensus is of at least this particular website. All right. So let me get out of here. All right. So we got that. Then I got another tab here. More news, right? So I had this column up. This is a little video here. You can get this off of this app. This app has several news sources all compiled into one. So as you see, every tab here is its own entity, its own website. They operate independently from one another, but they're all gathered here for this one app. So you got Daily FX, you got whatever, right? So, of course, it's a Forex pair. You could go into this. So, in this particular case, I went into, I believe, it was FX Street. And what do you have here? You have so-called experts giving their take on what they believe the market's going to be, right? So, what do you have? You have you have an assessment by Mark Altswald, and he gives his assessment on a few pairs, one being the one of interest, the USD CAD. So I took a look, and he also agreed that the market's going down, right? So now it's time for you as a trader with your own set of skills to dig in the charts and see exactly for yourself where you think it's going. Because at the end of the day, you have to pull the trigger, right? So let's back out of here. These tabs up here, you know, they're just other tools. Easy trend, easy pivot, easy ATR, currency strength. They're all made by the same developers. You know, they give you more or less a different perspective as to what is happening in the market. So for currency strength, right, I like to use this tab because it lets me know exactly how each individual currency is holding up against one another. So what we have here, look at that, the Canadian dollar. On the 5 and the 15th going for the weakest. Now let's take a further look in. So as you can see, the CAD is on the left here. We got a red bar. It's the weakest. So what does that look like? It's looking like a sell here, right? So if it's compared to the USD, USD is stronger. Okay. So now that we know that, and on the 15, CAD and USD just barely above this one on the CAD. All right, so we got that. Okay, so this is events. This is another way to get your news on this tab. I choose not to use this one. I showed you the other one a little while ago. Okay, so now I have my charts already set up on my home screens so I could go through them. This is the S&P 500. I trade that often. I trade the NASDAQ 100 often. Okay, so this is my currency pairs here. So what I have is the hourly up top, and I got the 5 minutes on the bottom. So when I tap it once, it refreshes it, and it lets me know where the market is currently. Right? So I just comb through the pairs. So we're trying to look at USD CAD. Now, of course, you don't have to use this kind of stuff. Me, I just like to hit and go. So I want to see quickly what's going on. Okay, so USD CAD. All right, so what does it look like here? We got a little bit of a downtrend on the hourly here, right? It's been going on for a couple days. Let me take out my pointer so you guys can see a little bit clearer. All right, I'm just gonna use the screen right so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, so what do we see here? Top, top, top. Right, bottom, bottom. Little channel here. Looks like it's going down.